Now, this thing of the weekend and the camp is a fantasy camp, of course. You're making these guys and gals, their basketball fantasies come true. What is your basketball fantasy?
It's not fantasy. I mean, it's to win all 40 games sometime before I retire and then be able to go to an NBA All-Star game, and 12 of the players in the NBA All-Star game have played for us. That wouldn't be, I don't call that fantasy. Fantasy means it could never happen. So, but those would be two things that would be neat before I don't have to do any more press conferences in front of you guys.
What did you see before you sent them off on break? What did you see from one veteran and two of the new guys that you kind of really get your first look at?
I was really pleased. You know, from De'Aaron Fox gaining like 10, 12 pounds to Wenyen getting his feet underneath him, the progress that Isaiah made shooting the ball, Michael, Dom, those guys, Derek, all of them have gotten better, and you could just see they're more mature and more at ease. I met individually with the freshmen last night and then as a group. And it's funny, they're just wide-eyed. They're typical, wide-eyed. They think they know what they're stepping into, but there's an anxiety because they don't know. And then I'm in there, what do you think I'm sugarcoating it? Like, do you understand how hard this is going to be? And this is not the next step up, and you're going to have to be curious, and you're going to have to learn, or you're going to get run over. There's no easy way here, and you're going to have to do it together. You're going to have to be about each other, and if you're only concerned with yourself, this gets too hard and overwhelming. If you concern yourself with everybody else and still be responsible for you, you can do this. So we had those meetings, and I'm excited to get going. I probably will, the 2 hours a week, more than half of it will be individuals workouts. Now you may say, well, you're allowed to do team. Why wouldn't you do team? We're not ready for team stuff yet. I mean, whether it be Bam, whether it be Wenyen, whether it be Sasha, even Isaac, who's way better. Like when you see Isaac now, you're going to say, my goodness, like he's not even the same guy. They all need individual work, and so do the guards. So the other, if I split it down and it's 40 minutes, I'll probably do 40 minutes of team, and it'll all be dribble drive drills, just teaching them how to play and teach them how to attack and be in balance and throw lobs and do that stuff. So I'm anxious to get going. We go out to recruit on the 9th. I'll be gone for at least 5 straight days. Probably in 5 straight days hit 12 different states. Get done what I got to get done, because if I'm not in the first week, what do you think the other school's saying? Well, if you were important to him, he'd have been here already. So I got to go and just hit 3 states in one day. And, you know, we're not recruiting that many kids. I think it's 8 or 9 kids. But I got to hit them all within the first 4 or 5 days.
Cal, I don't think we've talked to you since Derek's issue at the beginning of the summer. What's his status?
Well, you guys know I don't throw people under the bus. You guys know how I am. And we deal with every situation in its own right. We gather the information. And Derek knows that he's under a different eye now than he was. But I'm not going to tell you specifically what we did and didn't do. I'm not going to write your stories and do all that stuff. But obviously, he and I have talked a few different times. So.
You use that as a teaching tool to the guys about if you have a misstep, this can be the consequence. It goes public.
Well, that's being here. I mean, that's being at Kentucky, and you can't talk your way out of it. You can't, it's, you know, and that includes our staff. Like, I can't go anywhere that they're not taking pictures of me, sending them somewhere. Then I got to explain when my wife calls me and says, you didn't tell me you were in L.A. Like, what do you mean? Like, somebody took a picture with you, and well, I'm out here recruiting. What are you talking about? I mean, I've been in 3 states today. So you can't, there's stuff, these kids know. They're under a microscope. But I tell them that's the downside of being here, is that side, the good thing about being here is you're at Kentucky, and everybody wants to be here, and you're here. You're having the opportunity to do this and those things, and you got to deal with the other side of it.
Is he gonna miss any game time? Or-
No.
John, I read something about Roy Williams saying the ACC is expanding their conference games, number of conference games, and he thinks the Kentucky-North Carolina series might have to be set aside. What do you make of that series?
Well, it'd be disappointing if, like, North Carolina and Louisville and those teams in that league say, we got too many games, we can't play you. But obviously, we're Kentucky, we'll get our games. I mean, I'm not worried about it. I always have liked the North Carolina game, but as our fans have found out, it's us that they watch. It's not the other teams, and they're not so up on who's doing what. It's about our team. And obviously, we'll have one of the best schedules in the country if it doesn't include North Carolina. You know, we got UCLA, we got Arizona State, we got all these other teams that, you know, the challenge, which is Kansas, and probably forgetting some others. Who else? I don't even like to look at the schedule, to be honest with you.
Outside of taking that new leadership role, getting those guys.
He's doing good. He's doing good. I've been really pleased. I've been really pleased with him. He, you know, I kind of put it on him like I do all these guys, and was very specific in that he's got to improve his shooting. I mean, it doesn't matter how I play him, where I play him, how much he plays. It's all comes back to improve that. You don't have to be Steph Curry. You just have to be better than you were. And you know what? He's worked at it. He's in the gym at night. He knows. There's no excuse. You can't blame anybody. You can't say this, that, and the other. It's not this for him and the other guys. And I told him, when you're in this program, you got to be responsible for you. We're going to look after you. We got your back, but you have to be responsible for you. And you got to be about each other, because it's too hard when you're trying to take all this on yourself. So I'm really pleased with him, to be honest. And, you know, people forget how big he was for our team a year ago. Like, he kind of got overshadowed. And the only reason he got overshadowed, whatever he shot from the three-point line and the free throw line was abysmal. But short of that, defending, rebounding, playing basketball, getting to the basket, making plays, not being afraid. I mean, you know, Tyler had the ball all the time, and Jamal shot the ball the way he did, so they kind of overshadowed. But as a basketball player, as a tough, hard-nosed warrior, come on now, there were games we'd have lost if he wasn't playing.
Time for a few more questions, guys.
Bam was a little bit nicked up early on. Did you get a good chance to see him by the end of those workouts?
He's begun working out right now, and he was doing conditioning and all that, but he's getting on the court more. And, you know, look, my prediction will be kind of like Carl and even Anthony and some of these guys that, you know, they you know, other players were more highly thought of. When you start hitting late January and February, you're going to say, oh my goodness, because he's a beast with skills, greatest kid. I mean, he's a great teammate aside from that. You know, he's unselfish in all kind of ways, but he's a beast who can play basketball. And he wants to win. I mean, the meetings I had with the guys last night were, you know, they're so, like, they're all saying this, it's great to walk in a gym and have all these really good players. And I've said it, I said, you know, I tweeted out, talked to a kid on the phone, and he was telling me about his aspirations and wanting to play with other good players. And when I got off, I said, you know, that if you walk in a gym and you're the most talented guy, you're in the wrong gym. If you walk in a gym and you look at the talent and you say, oh my goodness, that's the right gym for you. And that's us. You walk in the gym and, like they were telling me every day in the pickup games, it's somebody different that does something. I talked to him last night about leadership. It's not one guy leading us. It's not going to be Isaiah by himself leading us. I want to have 3 or 4 leaders. So if anybody gets hurt, anybody's got to step back, anybody's not playing well, anybody has issues they got to deal with, it doesn't affect us because we have more than one leader. So I'm teaching 12 guys to lead and what it means to lead, which means to serve everybody else.
You said Isaac's much better. What about him?
Much more confidence, much more physical, much more skilled in what he's doing and able to sustain it more. He's got a ways to go. I mean, he's got a ways to go, but it's what you want to see. He was 17 last year. Now he's 18. He's only 18? Yeah, he's only 18. Like the youngest player in the country last year. Couldn't be drafted. One player I've had that had no chance that he could be drafted, it was him. And so, you know, again, when I had the team meeting with everybody, I just looked at him and said, that Australian team was good too, by the way. And so watching video of them and some of the stuff they're doing, he said they were good. But I expected him to play one more round, which I did kind of too. But
Last question.
What does that mean for Marcus, do you think?
it's big. I mean, the best thing for him is that even if you have to step back and you win, what that feeling is, now chase that feeling. You know, chase that feeling in Sacramento. It means you may have to add a couple more pieces, and those pieces may, you know, at certain games, they be the dominant player, and you have to be able to accept that. Well, he's proven by playing at Kentucky, he can do that, and now playing on the Olympic team, he can do that. So, you know, now it becomes them getting a couple more players, because in that league, it's a talent league. It's become a miss or mate league. If you miss, you lose. If you make shots, you win. It's become that. But it's also about the talent you have on the team. If you want to win, you better have really good players and more than just one or two.
All right, thanks, everyone.